Okay, hello everyone. Today's guest will be Sami Özuslu, and he will be giving a speech about media and freedom in Cyprus. I'm sure he will be giving you lots of examples throughout the world as well, so you will be able to have some sort of connection between your own country and the things that is actually happening around the world at the moment. He was the head of a TV station called Kanal Sim. And he have made presidency in the journalist associations of Turkish Cypriots. Hopefully something like this. I'm sorry if I'm wrong about it. He has made it for 4 years, right? For 4 years. And he's still, thank you. He is still conducting a TV program in Kanal Sim every morning at 7:30. I'm sure Turkish Cypriot speakers, the ones who actually speak Turkish is familiar with him, has seen him in the TVs earlier or probably this morning. I'm not sure about it. Anyways, I would like to welcome him to the stage. The process will be, he will be giving you a brief presentation about the media and freedom in Cyprus and the rest of the world. Then if you have any questions, you'll be able to ask, and I'm sure he will be glad to answer it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Çağdaş, and I would like to thank to the Arukat University to inviting me. I will try to not get bored you because I know the student psychology, but no worry, everybody's psychology is the same. We don't want to get bored. So if you feel that you are getting bored, tell me something and let's change. So today's topic will be media and freedom in Cyprus. You know, freedom is a wide word and includes lots of things, but of course we are going to be focusing to media freedom in Cyprus. As you know, we have Turkish-speaking and Greek-speaking people in the island, and it is divided since 1974. We have been living as a divided people, and our language are different. They have the Greek Cypriot community. They have their own media. Some examples you can see in the photo. And we have Turkish Cypriot media. I try to check how many daily newspapers are now still are publishing every day. It depends. If it is weekend, it is less, and if it is weekdays, it is more. But it is almost 12, 13 daily newspapers we do have as Turkish Cypriot media. Only print versions I am talking about, because there are more than 20, maybe more than 30 newspapers we call newspaper, but some of them are already switched to digital media. I mean, they have websites, they have applications on the digital platforms. Also, we have TV channels. You know, media is not only print media and digital media. We have TV channels. We have currently 8 TV channels. Mostly they are on satellite. And also they have the digital broadcasting in digital medias. So this is a map. This is a world map. And the colors will show us something in upcoming photos, slides. Just have a look at the map. You will see some green, some yellow, some dark red, some orange colors. And these are going to tell us something. This is another part of the island, actually our part, let's say. You see, Cyprus is here, very small country, and also it is two parts. And you can see Europe, Africa, Middle East, and Asia in this slide. You may see that the greens are on the Nordic place of the world, at least this part of world. And apart, we have some yellows. Is it possible to switch off the lights? Because I think, is it okay? Can you see clearly? Yeah? Okay. There are, but when you get closer to Cyprus in the Middle East region, you may see that the color is going dark. What does it mean? These colors are from an index. What index? It is Press Freedom Index. Did you know, has anybody heard about that? Do you know what means? Yeah? What is that?
So they're measuring how free media is to discuss certain issues in different countries.
Who does it?
I don't remember the name of the organization.
Yeah, Reporters Without Borders. RSF, Reporters Without Borders. It is the organization, it is an international organization, and they follow up It started, I think, 8-9 years ago, because before that they were not covering the North Cyprus. Why? What is your idea? Why?
No,
Sorry?
it was not known.
It was not known.
It wasn't recognized.
It wasn't recognized. Still, it is not recognized. Because of the conflict and because of the unrecognition by the international community, they didn't care. You know, the same thing became during the COVID-19. And when you check the COVID-19 cases, deaths, whatever, they didn't cover Turkish Cypriots. We didn't cover it by. Anyway, but at least 10 years from now, they are covering in the north, which is good. You know why? Because it is a test case for us. It is a kind of examination that you have been facing. Maybe examinations are not good for you, but it is a test case to see what is your level. 150?
What happened 8 years ago, and they start to take Northern Cyprus into account?
Yeah, thank you for the question, Nuran Hocam. Because as the journalist organizations, we push them. We sent them messages and we debated, and we said, okay, we have a press, we have a media, we have journalists, we have organizations, and we are living at least. Look, we have bodies, we have eyes, we can write, whatever. So if you knock the door, one day they are going to accept you to enter. This is my understanding. This is my life philosophy, let's say.
The first step for it.
Sorry?
Who did the first step for it?
I don't remember, but it is a, let's say we did all together, all the organizations, and also some persons who, because these reports are preparing via local academics, local journalists reports. They don't look from the center of, I think it is Paris, the center of the RSF. They don't look from Paris and see all the world. They ask not only somebody, but many people. They are reporting, and they, at the end of the day, they are deciding the rates. Now, what happened this year? This means the Northern Cyprus rate is 81st of in 180 countries. It is somehow moderate. Yes, it is not very bad, but it is not very well. And comparing the last year's score, we lost 5 steps back. We used to be 76, and now the score is 81. Why? Because something get wrong. Because some cases had been faced by journalists. Some of them from here, some of them from Turkey, and mostly from the officials. I mean, the states. Let's have a look what happened Cyprus, which is Republic of Cyprus. We call it South Cyprus or Greek Cypriot side, Greek speaking communities media. Look what happened. They were in 26 last year, into 21. Exactly 39 steps back, they stopped at 65. It is a big, dramatically drop. It is a very big black result of the Republic of Cyprus, and they are going to face many problems. Why? What do you have any idea why they are going to face many problems? Against human rights, and also they are in the European Union. In European Union, the media freedom is very important, but in European Union countries, not all of them are very positive situation. They are not very democratic. Uri?
I'm shocked now because I remember the points from my thesis. There is a very dramatic change.
Very dramatic.
Yeah. But I'm now wondering about what is the reason of this change. What has happened?
Yeah, we will see. That's why I started to show what is the scores of North and South at first, and I would like to give some more information how they calculate the scores, and then we are going to come to South and North. Specifically, we will see what happened, because they have five different topic, and they ask many questions to get the scores. We will see all of them just after a moment. Now, this is the top countries: Norway, Denmark, Sweden, Estonia, Finland. They are all from the Nordic European countries. So Ireland, Portugal, Costa Rica, Lithuania, Liechtenstein, New Zealand, Jamaica, Seychelles, Switzerland, Iceland. There are some interesting countries. I mean, even some Africa countries are in a very well situation. in a very well level of the media freedom. While some Europeans are really bad situation. Poland and Hungary, they have really big problems in European Union and with European Union. That's why the European bodies are getting new resolutions against their member countries, including Poland and Hungary. These are the poorest countries. You can see Northern Korea is the poorest one. Eritrea, Iran, Turkmenistan, Myanmar, China, Vietnam, Cuba, Iraq, Syria, Palestine, it goes up. They are better, and these are the worst countries. You can find all the index in the rsf.com, and you can check 2020 report in the first page. If we have connection, we can show the web page later on. Yeah. Thank you. Now we are coming to the question raised by Huri Hocam. This is the colors of the map. You remember the first slide I showed you. Then you can see what does mean the colors in this press freedom map. Okay, if you get a country gets 85% to 100, it means good. It means the best of the world, best in the world. 70, 80, it is a kind of the ranking your notes, your marks. Yes, these are the green is the best, and the dark red is the worst. It used to be actually black, but this year they changed it. If you check the previous years, you can see black, dark, red, whatever. They change it. This is the mentality. I mean, maybe they will change it later on again. But now it is the colors. So when you see green, it is the most democratic, most the highly level of the media freedom. Now, what they follow, what they look and how they decide. There are five elements they check. First one is political context. Second one is legal framework, how the country's legal things, and economic context, because economy is very important. If you have you may have most democratic law, but if your economy is not in a good way, it means that press freedom is under threat as well. So social and cultural context is another framework, and safety. We can look more closely, and let's, for example, political context, what they are looking for, what they are asking. They have been asking 33 questions for deciding on this context only. The degree of support and respect for media autonomy vis-a-vis political pressure from the state or from other political actors. The other one, the level of acceptance of a variety of journalistic approaches satisfying professional standards, including politically aligned approaches and independent approaches. There are many things. It is the same for legal framework, which journalists and media are free to work without censorship. Censorship is one of the key elements, of course, but you know, censorship, there is not only one kind of censorship. There are many, various kinds of censorship. Direct censorship, mostly the countries are not using this process, but mostly indirectly, financially, or self-censorship is much more useful for the countries. Economic context, there are many things to talk, but I would like to focus some safety, which at the end of this show you will see something regarding to this one. There are some questions, and they look if your country having some bodily harm. It means if journalists killed during the last year, or arrested, or faced some violence, so on. Psychological or emotional distress, which is very, very useful for to whom that would like to control the media, because controlling the media is, very important for all kind of powers, political powers and economic powers, so on. Everybody would like to control media. That's why you see the media is a sector that it is not beneficial economically, but you can get some else benefits. Many kind of. So professional harm resulting from, for example, the loss of the one's job, the confiscation or professional equipment, or the ransacking of installations. So you can read this carefully. It is not so long text. You can check, and I would like to ask you or tell you that you may see your country's situation. You can check your country's situation. Maybe at the end of the slide, we can do with some of your countries as examples, and you decide if it is true, if it is logical or not, because maybe it doesn't show the reality for the countries, for all countries. They ask to the journalists, and they ask some academics who they feed for giving the information about the country. We don't know exactly who does, but they have many people.
They have sent me some sort of survey, so I have filled it up.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of covered.
Yeah, and the organizations have been doing the same thing as well. Basın Sen, the Gazeteciler Birliği, for example. Huri?
So they are not following the media.
No. Even we cannot follow our media, because media is a huge, huge ocean. So
How they are getting the validity of this research? How it's reliable?
Yes, maybe because they are biased.
yeah, it is a good question. There are countries which is easy, which is you can find somebody from the university, somebody from the media, and they can give you information about their country.
This is so important.
I don't know exactly. I don't know exactly, but they usually recording your voice. Is it against to the press freedom, because you are recording, you are going to use against to her? What is
No, it is a live session, but
Is
they
it?
never. Yeah, it is live.
Let's start to
You are
sing a
always
song.
live. You are always live.
Okay. Yes. I don't know exactly how do they find the respect the people, because it is not easy. Specifically, the non-democratic countries are problem on this angle.
Mhm.
Yes,
But I don't believe that we are that much high level because our press is free enough, I think.
you mean we should be higher?
Yes, of course.
It is my belief. It is my belief as well. But in the last years, we are going worse. But we will see what they wrote. Because after these elements, for example, it is the same for the Greek Cypriots. Now, let's see what they wrote. Okay, media landscape. This is the landscape, the newspapers, numbers, channels, as I told you before. Political context, what they wrote in this year. This is our results of this year. Turkey's increasing pressure is negatively affecting press freedom and freedom of expression. Do you remember what is the Turkish situation? What is the number?
You didn't show it to us.
I didn't show, but it is a question. So I think now this year Turkey became 151.
Yes, they are worse than us.
Very,
Always.
very poor. It is close to the dark red. It is, but it used to be even worse. This year, I think they get 5 years up, comparing with this the last year. Cases are being brought against journalists who criticize the Turkish government, not our government. If you criticize Turkish government, you can face the cases. The Turkish government and direct interference in editorial content is not uncommon. An opposition journalist was denied entry to Turkey, Ali Kishmir, and we don't know
Okan
Who-
Dağlı, Ali
who-
Bizden.
but journalist Ali.
But they are related with the press as
Yes,
well.
of course. Yes, there are now at least 4 persons that couldn't enter to Turkey, and was fired from a TV channel. Another journalist, because of he criticized Turkish policies. Self-censorship is a reality, while informal, close, and sometimes financial relationships between politicians and media owners affect the independence of editorial content. Legislation protects press freedom, but limits it to protect public order, national security, and public decency. That goes on. I mean, there are economic reasons, which is very important. Media has been affected by the economic crisis caused by the pandemic. Their dependency on advertising and sponsorship has increased commercial influence over editorial content, which we talked before. A situation that has pushed the newspaper Havadis to be, from now on, only accessible online due to, there are many, not only Havadis, due to economic insecurity. Many journalists carry out PR activities for private or public institutions or persons, which affects their objectivity. This is actually the world's problem, let's say. Maybe you can see many less, a few countries that journalists are happy because of their lifestyle, because the incomes are very low, because of the social securities are very difficult. Most of them cannot get benefit from that. So because of the poorness, because of the economic needs, journalists have to find another job or work as a PR officer or in advertisement sector or something else, or they quit working journalism. This is the situation. This is the general situation. Mostly the country is facing this problem, but in northern Cyprus, it is one of the most important problem as well. In the south, why they dropped 39 drops? They score went down 39. Although the physical integrity and safety of journalists are not threatened, the media are the target of the verbal attacks by politicians, verbal attacks, which contributes to a lack of freedom of expression. Informal relationships between politicians and media owners strengthen the influence of the former on the sector, as does a widespread sense of duty and loyalty to the government on the Cyprus issue. And the Attorney General can authorize criminal prosecution against a media outlet if they considers it appropriate, and also economic things are important in the south as well. Self-censorship is widespread, and the church, somewhere they are covering the church interference to the media, but where it was, I don't know. You can see it when you read. Between northern Cyprus, there are some important differences. First of all, because of the international recognition, they are under the lights of the international bodies, international organizations, and specifically United Nations and European Union are following very closely such things, because they have the levels of democracy, which is very, very important for the European countries. But northern Cyprus, nobody cares. Nobody follow us. I mean, of course, this is RSF is following, but internationally, we don't have duties. We don't have to show that we are democratic. We are in a good situation on the freedoms. But of course, it is for us, because freedoms are for people, not foreigners. It is for the people who live there. Now, some phases at the end. These are 4 killed, murdered journalists in Turkish Cypriot media in the past. Kutlu Adalı was killed in 1996. He was a writer. He was against the leadership, let's say, the government at that time. And he was killed out of his house in a night. And nobody knows who killed. Actually, everybody knows, but they didn't find who killed. Before, in 1958, Fazıl Önder was publishing a newspaper called İnkılapçı, means revolutionist. He was a revolutionary journalist, and he murdered. Then in 1962, just after 2 years, the Republic of Cyprus formed. Between Turkish and Greek Cypriots, they formed a government. After Second World War, the independent, mostly the former countries were sömürge, colonized by the big powers. They get their independence. The Cyprus get it in 1960, and Turkish and Greek Cypriots came together and they formed a
Republic of Cyprus, which still it is using by, let's say, the Greek Cypriots, and it is still a member of the United Nations, and later on became member of the EU. Anyway, these two journalists were publishing the Cumhuriyet, which means republic in English, and they were supporting bi-communal Republic of Cyprus, and they have been killed. They killed in the same night their houses separately. These are our murdered journalists in our past. Hopefully, we don't face it, because we don't face any other murders in our community, but nobody can guarantee this, because we are not in a very good situation on the media freedom. So, as the last words, freedom is a fundamental for journalists, but also for a journalist to struggle for freedoms is a fundamental. Thank you for supporting journalism. Thank you for supporting freedom. Don't forget, media freedom is freedom of life. Thank you very much.
Any questions?
So, may I learn your countries? Your country? Zimbabwe. Can we check your country? Do you know what is the rate of your country? What is your estimation? Is it a good situation or bad or moderate? Sorry? Okay, rsf.org. Let's see. I don't know the score.
I just know stories of the news reporters who are being sued or thrown into prison. Some of them ran away from the country, like exile. So I'm sure it's not good.
There are some journalists in prison already.
Yes.
Yeah, and killed, the murdered.
Yes, some of them they disappeared, like they're killed. You never find them.
Who kills?
Obviously, it's sort of a political reason. When they report something against the government, we will not find them.
Unknown.
Unknown. Yeah, as always.
As in our country.
So some of them we never heard of them. They were just killed and never.
Anybody else?
I'm from Russia.
Russia.
Yeah.
Look at the index.
Which is also a fun story.
Yes, this is Zimbabwe. It is 137. Better than Turkey. Which is not a luck position, but at least. But it used to be 130 last year, as you can see, and it is now 137. The color is
Orange.
orange or red.
It indicates the color, right? This thing.
Yeah.
Orange.
Yeah, it is orange. Orange is not the worst, but let's check Russia as you. Russia. It is 155.
Should be lower. 155 is not bad. I mean,
Bu da turuncudur.
Bu kırmızı.
This.
Yeah.
Bildiğin koyu kırmızı.
Yeah, I was doing the project about freedom of speech last year about Russia, and I know that it was 150, but since the year, so this year, I thought it dropped way lower, like just 5 months.
Yeah,
is not enough for
That's
me.
why we are questioning if these questions are asking to the right people.
I mean, yeah, especially in
It seems there is a bias.
Yeah.
What about Scotland?
Scotland. Who is from? Scotland. Yes, let's see.
Or UK.
United Kingdom, UK.
24.
You are in democracy.
But last year it was 33. Last year it was 33, which
It is going democratical.
Yeah.
last year Cyprus, South was 26. It was higher than the UK. What else? Iran. We are going to Tehran now.
But number is big. We expect more wars than this number.
Okay, I mean there are only 2 more countries that have there are only 2.
I like to make this number. It's wrong. We are more than this.
What about Turkmenistan?
Turkmenistan.
It is, Congo. I remember it is.
Let's check Turkmenistan.
And then Congo. On 100.
It is
177.
yeah.
That.
They changed with Iran, yes? It used to be 178.
What about Congo?
I've seen a couple of videos about Turkmenistan.
Congo.
Really like
Who is from Congo? Yeah.
Democratic Republic of
It is one 102.
Northern Cyprus. Northern Cyprus.
Her ikisi de var.
Northern'a bakalım.
Aynen South'la bakalım.
81.
Ona baksak önce.
This is Cyprus, Northern Cyprus. South, we already showed, but let's see again the Cyprus.
Cyprus. Sorry.
As we told, they dropped 39.
Yeah.
Look, it is the worst. Maybe it is the worst country in this year.
Last year they were better than UK.
5 years ago, Malta dropped dramatically. Why? Do you remember? Because a woman journalist were killed because of they dropped. But now, as we read the details, they don't have physically harassment, but they dropped dramatically because
Do you remember what happened with this journalist? Why was it?
Malta.
yes, the lady were killed, murdered, and now there's a prize on honoring her name by European Union, European Parliament, and all journalists over the world can apply. I mean, the European countries, they can apply.
Can I ask you a question? I also don't understand the difference between North Cyprus and South Cyprus as well, because I see them very, similar. How
One is recognized, the other one unrecognized. One is belonging to European Union, the other one is belonging to Turkey.
but I think they are using the same procedure while closing to the journalists. They are asking the same questions. I think so.
Actually, I'm agree with you, but as Nuran Hocam mentioned,
South Cyprus is worse than us.
yeah, but when you are not recognized and you can, I mean, from outside, it is not visible what we know actually. That I think this is the main reason. But when we have more contacts and if we can show better us to the international community, it will be much more better. But
Maybe the name of the unrecognized.
yes,
The word
unrecognized, under occupation, the relations with Turkey, whatever. So
maybe we are also evaluated from the Turkey perspective.
Yeah.
Of the control.
actually, when I when I get question from the foreign journalist or in an international platform, they immediately ask whether we are like as if we were like Turkey or not. I face such questions because they think that here is Turkey. Actually, it I mean, maybe some psychological thing. This is your.
By the way, Hong Kong is the worst. Then Republic of Cyprus is the second. I mean, as you compare from 2021.
What happened here? I didn't check it.
They had some riots, right? And the riots were suppressed by government.
Yeah.
National security law aimed at silencing independent
Ah.
voices.
National security law.
Yeah, because of the China conflict. Yes. Yeah.
Are there any other alternative organizations to Reporters Without Borders?
I actually there are many organizations, but such scoring, publicly scoring, I don't know. Maybe Çağdaş knows or other.
When I was doing my research, I found a lot just relating to Russia. So maybe there's just relating to some separate countries, but this one is like worldwide.
There is a human index as well.
Yeah.
Human index.
But
And
it
when
contains.
you check the human index, Noyan, you can check many things. For example, gender gap, or salary gaps, right gaps, health gaps, educational gaps. Everything can be comparable over there.
Yeah.
Human index report every year is publishing.
Yes, but
OECD or something.
I think it could include the
Different
incomes,
kind of,
the economic
everything.
situation, whatever. But
Education.
as far as I know, this is only the international scoring of the country's press freedom. Any other country? Cameroon. In football, you have a very good team. Yeah, used to have. But are they good now? Or? Yeah, still good. Yes, 118. But it is going a good way.
There are some improvements.
Yeah, improvement is
Over 100 again.
yeah. Can we see the map of the Africa in general? You can see, for example, South Africa and some countries over the west. Yes, they are really good. I mean, comparing the Europe, which is the EU, there are some yellows, but there are some yellows as well. Gösterir. Burkina Faso, for example, Ivory Coast, even I don't know the country, Namibia, and South Africa. Mozambique.
116.
But as you may see from the Middle East map, you can see that mostly the countries close to Cyprus are dark red. Turkey used to be dark red, I think last year, and now became a little bit light. But things are not going well, as you know.
Not to put in the prison. That's why they're getting orange.
Yeah.
All of them are in the prison.
Yeah, nobody can speak anymore.
And last year, Cyprus was divided as two colors. It was two colors because our side was orange again, but that's okay. But last year, South color was, I think, green, or not green, yellow. But now we are equal, but in a bad way. Sorry.
I think red is color of the year.
Favorite color.
Hopefully, hopefully we don't switch to red, because red means go to prison or killed as journalists. So another question, another country we didn't cover. Korea.
South or north?
South Korea. North is in the deep, in the bottom. South Korea is one of the best. Yeah, 43.
Which one is the worst one right now? Korea.
North Korea.
Okay.
Can we check Greece? Greece.
You want to be able to pick your pen.
You want to publish.
You see, Greece lost the stage as well, while 70 last year, while 70 now became 108.
The assassination of veteran crime reporter Yorgos Karayevas, sorry. In April 2021.
Yeah.
But nothing happened.
Yeah, it remains unsolved. Come again?
Can you check for Iran what is written there?
Yep.
Selam hocam.
Geldiniz gerçekten.
Benim Neyiniz nedir?
İslam ekleyeceğim, bilmeyiz.
Who was from Iran apart from hocam? Anybody else? You. Are you agree with the index? Do you think that Iran is not free on media?
We don't need
Okay.
to talk about like now.
Nobody has a doubt
Think
about
1 second.
Yeah. You in Iran, as far as I know, I didn't read the details, but there is direct censorship. Yes.
Even they're listening to your talking on the phone. Some certain name, if you name it, they automatically will be recorded, and government is going
Yeah.
to catch you in the next day, in the next moment.
Yes. It is.
The-
It is violation to the human rights, because communication is one of the most important human rights. But in mass media, important thing is who is controlling. If there was direct censorship or
Yeah,
not.
the government is controlling.
Yeah, government's control. I mean, I cannot publish a newspaper there. Yes,
You have to get in the permission.
in Turkish language.
I don't know.
You check it. Must not
Can
be
you give some examples of indirect censorship?
indirect
For
censorship.
example, slowing down the internet connection is the indirect censorship.
Expired.
Yeah, of course.
Can it count?
Of course, but the internet connection, because of the poorness of northern Cyprus,
No. I'm talking about sometimes on Twitter, it's blocked or something you
Like
couldn't
China.
publish anything.
Like China.
Oh.
It's
Yes.
direct because it's blocking directly the information that you can get from the social media sources.
yeah,
Maybe indirect censorship would be a shadow ban, or when your money is arrested, so you can't like do your journalistic work. I'm not sure.
there are many kind of, actually. There are political one. If the government can touch the media outlets, newspapers, journalists, and if they scaring the government, they do self-censorship. They stop somewhere. They don't go ahead. They don't write whatever they think. On the other hand, there are economic one. The mostly in the north, in the northern Cyprus, we have such thing. For example, a company give advertisement money to the media, which is the most important income of the organizations, and they avoid to criticize that company. This is the international one. For example, Coca-Cola or Pepsi, they are the huge companies in the world, and they feed the media when they face, or the telecoms, which is the global sectors. They stop, as a unwritten, non-written rule, they don't touch these companies, criticizing these companies' things. You know, these kind of the censorships are very often. But when we come to the North Cyprus, I can tell you that the most useful one, most popular one, they not criticizing the Erdogan's government, for example. If you can criticize the government here every day, whatever you wish, you can say, you can write, nothing happens for today. But if you criticize Turkey, somebody will not enjoy this. That's why many journalists are avoiding to criticizing Erdogan. That's why in the report we saw this phrase. They wrote it because it is very popular at that time. That's why they wrote Turkey's interference of the Turkish Cypriot media is the reason that we are going down on media freedom. You can see, you can check how many newspapers or how many TV programs you can hear, okay, or read any critic against to Turkish government.
So, between teachers, instructors from the university, and journalists, who do you think are more exposed, and who do you think influence more on government policies?
Öğretmenlerden şeyin arasını sordu tam olarak. Tam anladığını sorarım.
Teachers and journalists.
Yes.
Yeah, the question, there are two questions. Pardon?
You are talking about the academics?
Yeah, from the university, like you.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, academicians, yes.
Yes.
Academicians and journalists, who are the more exposed? And a second question is that who are more likely to influence on government policy and also criticize them?
For me,
yes,
as a journalist,
mm-hmm.
I criticize everybody.
Okay.
If you would like, I can criticize you if you are not going to kill me. But sorry, just joking. But not everybody can do it. There are, because of my media outlet is giving me this freedom. It depends. Okay, journalist is a person, but organizations are much more important. It is same the academy. In academy, a teacher, an academic is very important. Knowledge, background, intellectuality, whatever. But if there is no support before the university itself, the teaching person cannot give you enough, the information.
Don't you think? Because in my country, for example, in some universities that are very popular, some teachers, like instructors, are even more influential, more than ministers, because the population maybe that they are giving class to is so huge. And if he's teaching a class like maybe political science, he can pass through that course and give his own ideology. So he can manipulate easily the people. So by doing that, he can influence in policies.
The academics are very popular, and
no, they are very influential because they teach. You teach
yes.
me. So through you, I can learn. So you can pass through me and give an ideology that I will follow.
Yeah,
which is not likely like journalists. Journalists,
even they are more popular than politicians. Yes, which is good. The science is very, very important. So I prefer to hear the academics. I prefer to inform by the academics instead of politicians. Yeah, I agree. Sometimes in some crucial times, let's say in political, there are, for example, COVID-19 era was a crucial time for all the world and for all of us as well in Cyprus. During that time, the people are much more eager to hear the realistic information. And then that time, the doctors I mean, the other stuff of the health sector became much more popular. For example, during a political thing, the political international relations teachers, the academics becomes much more people. And of course, we do have very, very valuable academic persons, professors, so on, and they are the very good sources for journalists as well. And we, for example, but in political level as well, for, you know, Cyprus problem is the unchangeable, let's say, the topic forever, for more than 50, 60 years. And the Cyprus, if you are a professor on Cyprus issue, you are popular. You are a good source.
Being popular, are you not exposed to the government? That was my question.
Somehow they lead the politicians as well, somehow. But of course, it actually, you know, democracy and freedoms, press freedom, they cover what you said. If you have a democracy and the public opinion leads the leaderships or the government, whatever you say, it means the politicians have to hear what the informative people saying, because they can influence the people in a good way, sometimes in a good way, a bad way. Hocam?
What about the censorship?
Here,
everywhere, self-censorship or government censorship or the news.
In Northern Cyprus?
In Northern Cyprus. Do you believe in that?
Direct censorship we don't have.
Zero?
Zero.
Perceptional wise?
Yeah.
As a journalist, sometimes maybe you just believe that you shouldn't do something because.
Hocam, to be honest, in the public sector, public media outlets, which we have Bayrak Radio and TV, and also TAK News Agency, they do have, but we don't know it. We just feel it. Sometimes we feel it. It depends who is ruling the country at that time, because, you know, the politicians have right to appoint the manager or board of this two media outlet, which means they don't have autonomy. If you don't have autonomy, it means you don't have freedom. But comparing, for example, comparing the South, even in this sector, I mean the public broadcaster and the public agency, even they are worse than us, because at least in the boards there are some members who are appointed by government, and also there are some members who are appointed by opposition party or civil society, which journalist association are representing in both of them. What? TAK'ta var mıydı ya? Var değil mi? Yes, we do have. Regarding to the law, I mean the both bodies, as civil society, we do have right, but we are not majority. But at least there are some different voices over there. In the South, for example, the agency board appointed directly by the president himself, all of them. It is not, I mean, it is not logistic and democratic regarding to my mind. But coming back to the censorship, we do have indirect censorship too much. I mean, first of all, I have to tell you, maybe in our country we didn't face in the recent at least, but nobody can stop printing a newspaper or circulating. Nobody cannot. Only we have some exceptions. During the election day, there are some exceptions. If you break, I mean, if you support somebody directly or criticize directly, and because regarding to the law, the election law, you cannot affect the people during the last 24 hours.
But the chief editor of any publishing house can edit or can censor whatever you want to say, the word. He can decide if this news is good to go or not to go.
Editor.
I don't agree. I think that their way of communicating. I think a newspaper can indirectly support the candidate during election. They might not say that, okay, this candidate is like Esitata is best, but the way they portray,
how do you know him?
the way they portray the information to the people give some, some ideas in the mind of voters to encourage them to vote for him. So,
But there is a law within 24 hours you couldn't.
I mean, we have such. We have a regulation on it. So sometimes they stop the circulating of the newspapers. It became many years ago actually, but they can stop the broadcasters as well.
For example, here, some of the cases which I faced in during these 6 months, one of my friends explained it to me. He has some problem, the kind of the rape situations in here, which is very rare, is our professor. Maybe Nuran Hoca knows that. I don't want to mention the name.
No, please not, because it is live.
Yeah,
it is not ethical.
So we made the case to the police, and the police denied to publish this news to the newspaper.
Police official
Forcing all the government and everybody is forcing. Okay, do not talk to anybody.
No.
Regarding these cases.
Maybe you're.
Quite speculative.
Yeah, it is a speculative thing. Policemen cannot tell us you write, publish or not. They cannot decide. Even the politicians. But
often happens like when the case is big and police asks journalists to not talk about certain points of the case so that it won't interfere with investigation. It's like not only on Cyprus, it's like everywhere.
I mean, look, first of all, there are ethical codes. We have a legal framework. First, as journalists, we have to be care to not violate the others' rights, including personal rights, including children rights, including women rights, LGBT rights, animal rights, whatever. And also we have ethical codes. Ethical codes are universal somehow, but we do have local ethical codes as well, because it causing our lifestyle, our families, our villagers, whatever, our culture. So nobody can stop a journalist if like to write something, but of course you cannot publish a child's face as a criminal, even he or she had a criminal case. No, it is a universal thing actually. Yes, because until 18 years he or she is not an adult. So the government, the state must protect children. Protecting the children means protecting against to all kind of enemies, including the finishing his or her life with a news, with a story. Because even a child stole something from a garden or from a market, he or she cannot be described as criminal.
It depends on the country, because, for example, in Russia, you have to blur children's face, even if you're not calling them criminals, just in general, if you show minors or children in news, you always blur out their face. Maybe
Yeah.
your country is different.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, blurring is a the general method to
Mention their names.
yeah.
For us, the people that they blur the faces are those who are accusing.
Yeah.
Like those who are persecuted. For example, if you stole from me and I'm on news and I'm trying to accuse you, they blur my face to protect me.
Yes.
But the person who is in the trouble, they don't blur the face.
I mean, it is the similar in the countries. It depends the law system and the general culture. But these are not censorship. Stop. This is not stopping the media or making the mouth close. This is what is necessary, because our job is not meaning that freedom is not meaning I can write whatever I want, because first of all, I have to care of everybody's rights. I cannot.
It's proven that you are guilty, you are innocent. That's the ethical code.
Yes, it is
Regarding
constitutional human rights.
regarding censorship, like direct one, you said that
A little bit higher.
you say that you don't witness direct censorship here in Northern Cyprus, but when we were reading the report by Reporters Without Borders, they said that it is censored, like if you want to say something about the government of Turkey. So how does that work? Is it again self-censorship, or is it like something that covered by law or something?
As I mentioned before, mostly these kind of censorships are indirectly. Actually, there is no any written rule that you say that you cannot criticize Mr. Erdogan's policy in Syria or in Turkey or in Cyprus. But at the end of the day, because of the close relations between two countries, everybody, actually coming to the media, there are many things to tell you. For example, as journalists, we receive many messages, many telephone calls, or many face-to-face conversations, for example, from the business people. And when you talk friendly, they criticize everything. But when you ask, may I write down as a story? They say, no, not mention my name. Why? Because I need credit. If you need credit from a bank, you have to be in a good relation with the embassy of Turkey. This is the very simple, everyday's practice that we have been facing. There are many. I mean, the people do not want to, because now Facebook or social media in general are mixing with the media itself. I mean the mass media. It is not mass media. Social media is different, but in general, people think that it is a media. Somehow it is, but in media, we have gatekeeping, which is the most important part of the media. That's why we have editors. That's why we have the managers who are executive situation. Otherwise, everybody can broadcast, everybody can write and publish everything in today's technology. But if you don't have a fishnet, you cannot do right journalism. This is the difference between the social media and media.
My question is actually starting from where you left. I was going to ask, maybe you already covered, but you are coming from the conventional media times, as I do actually. We had old school, but now we have emerging media, as we say in general. starting from the conventional media basics that the media journalists or the media outlets had a full control on the content, even with some factors, as one of them is censorship and so on. But when we look at to the digital media and the emerging media, we can say that everybody is a storyteller or news teller, not journalist, but news teller. In that case, there is no rules and regulations much that we can apply on the today's news teller. They can create any news stories, even if it's speculative. How do you see this transition from conventional media to emerging media? How do you see the situation in North Cyprus also? Because it's so easy to create a content today for everybody, which brings you a chance to speculate anything that you would like to. And as a person who had conventional media times, we always had some authority that sometimes it's a controlling body for us or gatekeeping, that we had to take some precautions over the content. But whereas when we are talking about social media, there is no controlling over body. How do you see this transition, and how do you see tomorrow?
Hocam, it is my painful in my heart because.
But you do use digital media also as a platform.
We do use. Of course, we have to use. Social media is a visual actually, but content comes the conventional media mostly, if you check. But today's financial and economic situation of the media, that's why I said, we are losing the quality stuff. We are losing the number of the stuff. Everything is decreasing. It's going down. So even fishnet, even the editorship, even a good journalistic skills, it is
disappearing.
Unfortunately, we are going back. We are going back as media. I mean, about the quality. Technology is going fastly up, and every day we have been trying to change and catch it. But technology is not everything for journalism. I remember when I started journalism, we were using dactylos, typewriters, and now, I mean, we used to have photo editing rooms for the negative film to the positive one. And for example, from London, which Turkish Cypriots are very closely related there, because there are many Cypriots there. I remember taking a photo and writing something from London and sending and publishing in our newspaper. It needs at least 1 month. Now it is only 1 second.
Yeah.
Even live, you can live broadcast it. I mean, these things are very, very productive for our job, but the human being is the most important element of journalism. If you don't have a qualified editor, if you don't have a senior journalist, you can do your job very simply. Yeah, 1 crash, 2 died, whatever. That's it. Only the basic information which we can hear from our neighbor who didn't educated as journalist. I mean, the level of the stuff and numbers are going down. That is the result of this one. So you know why the journalists are opening every day new websites or
social media accounts?
Not social media, website. I mean the newspaper, online newspapers or web TVs. Why? Because they don't want stuff. They cannot pay stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They only can get a few advertisement, maybe, and maybe they can survive.
How do you see the future then?
I don't want to comment on it because I cannot see a good light. Light is not visible for now. Really, I'm honestly cannot see a good future for journalism. But I know that journalism must be a little bit go back and remember that the journalism is not giving only basic information. You need research, you need evaluating, you need criticizing. So these are not only one person's job. You need good stuff.
Content.
That's the yes.
When you started to answer this question, you said that the newspapers and the channels, they lose staff because of the digital media. But what did you mean? Do those people who work for traditional media transfer to digital media, or is there not many people coming, new people, or what did you mean?
No. There are many new people who are working in the sector
So
actually, but because of the financial problems.
So because of the competition with digital media, or what?
It is not because of the competition actually, because the competition. When you say competition, it means that how many audience. How many the income, the advertisement. Yes, we don't have such condition here because nothing is accountable because of the economic situation. I mean, the media outlets are not enough rich, so they are losing their person and they don't replace somebody else. Misunderstood, or I told you something that misunderstandable, but of course the numbers of the digital media is a give a variety of the journalists to choose, but the main reason is because of the conventional media, newspapers, TV and radio stations are not enough powerful, I mean, economically, to pay enough money to you. Not sustainable. No. That's why maybe in the Northern Cyprus report, I think we already read some newspapers stopped printing. They switched to because of they didn't. Some of them maybe they did, but they didn't decide to stop, but they had to stop because of the expenses of the printing is very high.
But then isn't it a competition issue? Because before, what changed like before and now?
Economic crisis.
But wasn't it before bad also?
Going worse day by day. I mean, the prices increasing and the incomes are increasing in Turkish lira, but in reality it is losing the value. Yeah. So, for example, printing a newspaper, I don't know exactly the prices. For example, let's say if it was €1 for each newspaper, each one, now it became 3 or 4. It means 4 times the newspapers expenditure growth. So you need 4 times more advertisement to recover it. So you understand? It is the economical.
And also, I think technology is very important. The developmental technology people also stop buying printing press.
Yeah, it is a universal thing, actually. It is universal, but I'm not talking about the transforming to the digital media. It is a universal thing, and every newspaper, even today, the most important channels, including BBC, CNN, ITV, whatever, they do have their digital platforms as well, because it is a visual to reach the people. For example, Netflix is a very new platform, but tomorrow will be maybe better one, and we will maybe forget the Netflix platform in upcoming years. But it is another story. It is another story. Even you don't have any conventional media outlet, and you decide to work on digital media only, you need staff and you need money to pay high quality staff. That's the problem. So as a journalist from the sector and as a managing journalist in media sector, I can see what happened in especially last 10 years and specifically last 3-4 years, which Turkish lira lost value dramatically. That's the main reason. Are we okay? It was a so long thing, I think. It lasted. Yeah? Is it okay? Hocam, ben stop'a bastım.
Okay.
I stopped.
All right. Thank you very much for your attendance, for your attention. Sorry, what attendance? Not attention. For your attendance as well. Apparently. And I'll see you guys next week.
Thank you very much. Evet, ben bunu kırmadan.
Teşekkür ederim.
Bu mikrofon çıktı. Ha, böyle.